Hello, my name is Cheyne Towers and I've been a practitioner of Qigong, which is Chinese therapeutic exercise and meditation, probably for about 37 years or so now. I love the practice very much. I teach regular classes here in Highgate in North London in the United Kingdom. And I want to say a big thank you to Swan and all of the other people from the Sense Collective for inviting me to talk to you a little about Qigong. And so I understand that the theme of today's event is reimagining nature. Now, this is a subject that I feel very passionate about, and I'd like to share some of my thoughts with everybody, particularly with regard to the 5 elements within the practice of Qigong. Now, I'd like you to maybe go on a little journey with me. I'm just going to enthuse to you about some of the principles that I find really useful and very interesting to explore within my own practice. So the practice of Qigong really dates back several thousand years in China, and there's therapeutic exercises and methods of shedding stress and unnecessary tension from the body. It's also regarded in some respects as a method of inner alchemy, so the transmutation of our lower, denser aspects into something more subtle and sublime. It can be a very useful practice to accompany any kind of spiritual, contemplative inner development. So it's very compatible with many other ways of meditating. It's in no way contradictory to anything else. So I'm going to be talking briefly about the 5 elements within us and how we can maybe in a contemplative way work with a few simple Qigong exercises that can help us to tune into the elements within our own individual being, and also how we can maybe begin to reach out and to connect with the elements within nature around us as well. This is a very healing and a very necessary healing process. I feel it has great relevance in relation to the times we're all experiencing, the times we're living through now, and the changes that we're starting to see in the world. And so these exercises can be very healing. I believe that the purpose of these types of exercises is to understand how to soothe ourselves. It's preventative health care, and we all need to take more responsibility for our own health and well-being, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually as well, if we're going to mention the S word. And I am going to mention the S word. That's one of the 5 elements. So we're going to start off in this little exploration with the element of earth. So obviously this ground that I'm standing on and the physical dense matter of my body, of our bodies, is the earth element within us. Now, the bones of the body, the denseness of the bones of the body, our physical structure. Very often we take for granted the function of our earthly body, the element of earth within us. We take things for granted until something is not functioning as it's supposed to. And then unfortunately we end up cursing the part of the body that's maybe not wrong, like, oh, my bad shoulder, my useless foot, my stupid leg. You know, we say these things and we don't realize what we're saying. But none of us like to be told we're stupid or bad or useless. And it's the same with parts of our own vehicle, our own body. The body has massive intelligence within it. So much intelligence. We don't even yet have any real comprehension of how incredibly complex the intelligence within the body is. Just like we don't really understand the complexity of the intelligence and the interconnectedness within nature. It's the same within our own bodies. So we have an opportunity to embark on a wonderful voyage of exploration of our own being and the different elements that make us up. So we very often end up with back problems because posturally we misalign. We might kind of have the head off to one side, or stand like this, or slouch like this, looking at computers with the head forward, and we end up with really sore shoulders, sore neck, and so on. Or just it becomes a habit. So we end up walking with our heads down like this. All these things, as people age, are not good. People stoop, and then they stoop more, and they stoop more. So we want to remedy that. So in the practice of Qigong, and we're going to do some exercise in a short while, one of the purpose on an earthly level is to develop an understanding of how to align the bones of the body harmoniously in relation to gravity, so that we understand if there's a misalignment, maybe a knee's misaligning inwardly or outwardly, or the hip, or the neck, or the shoulders, or the spine. If we can understand how not to misalign the bones of the body, then we gain a certain command of, a certain skill of working with the earth of the body. It's not just the bones, it's the muscles as well, the muscles and the flesh and the sinews and tendons, the fascia and the arteries and all of the earthly matter of the body. One of the wonderful experiences of the practice of Qigong is being able to listen inwardly to identify those possible misalignments, unnecessary tensions. There's a saying I use often: how can we possibly let go of something if we're not even aware of what we've been carrying? And if what we've been carrying unconsciously is unnecessary tension in the muscles and the flesh of the body, by becoming aware of it, and with a practice like this, we have an opportunity, we have a possibility of letting it go, because we've identified something that doesn't make sense to continue to carry. It doesn't make sense for us to continue to carry stress and unnecessary tension. The more we can let go of that stuff, the better we're going to function in life. So that's the earth element within us, the physical matter of the nails, the hair, of our being, our physical being. Now, I'm working with the, if you like, the Western tradition in relation to the concept of the 5 elements. So the way we're going to explore this, we've spoken about the earth element. Secondary to that, if you imagine the earth element being like the ocean bed, yeah, the earth upon which the ocean sits. So the next one up is the water element. So within us, obviously, the blood which flows through the body to the extremities of the hands, the soles of the feet, the tips of the toes, the top of the crown, and everywhere in between. The blood is like the water of the body. The water element also relates to our emotional body. Now, one of the goals of practicing Qigong with awareness of these different elements is to harmonize them. So if we're focusing on the emotional body, we've all been hurt at times in our past. But if we can engage in a practice which allows us to center ourselves emotionally, to return to a centered feeling emotionally, in spite of whatever we may have experienced in the past, and to return to the practice of centering ourselves emotionally, this becomes very deeply healing. So on an emotional level, with the waters of the emotions and our feelings, us human beings are feeling beings, we feel and sense. Our tears are water. Yeah. So we want to train ourselves to understand how to center ourselves emotionally and return to the practice which enables us to center ourselves again emotionally. So this is the water element. Above the water, above the ocean, you have the air element. So some of the more mystically inclined Taoist priests believe that the air is a being in its own right, and that we live in a symbiotic relationship with it. We live in it like fish live in the sea. It lives in us, the air lives in us, which is why we are alive. We can survive without food and water for a certain amount of time, but without air, a couple of minutes if we're lucky. So we live in this symbiotic relationship with the air, the being of the air. Now, we can cultivate a relationship with the being of the air so that we don't just abuse it, take it for granted, like humanity's ended up doing. We've gotten into a right old mess, polluting the air. Now, we have an opportunity within the practice of Qigong to cultivate a relationship with our breathing, with our lungs, the function of the lungs, the totality of the lungs. The lungs are really big within the body. We have an opportunity to sip the air that we're breathing like it's food, feeding upon the air, nourishing ourselves through the training of our breath. It's the first thing we do in life, it's the last thing we will ever do in life, is breathe. So we have a lifetime of opportunity to train our capacity to breathe with a good feeling. The element of air also relates to the functioning of our minds, the mental body, and everything associated with the function of our mind. So just like when we focused on the element of water, the goal is to center ourselves emotionally. Through the practice of the Qigong exercises, it allows us to center ourselves mentally as well. There's so many people dealing with all kinds of stresses currently because of social distancing and not seeing friends and loved ones and having all kinds of challenges because of the current situation that we're all having to deal with. That places a lot of stress on the mind as well as the emotions. So to take some time out of our day to practice a few simple exercises that can, by their very nature, nourish us and center us at the same time, mentally as well as emotionally and physically. This is, again, it's preventative healthcare. These are very positive measures we can all engage in if we choose to do so. We get out what we put in, my teacher says. We have to have realistic expectations. So why not make the effort to engage in a practice which centers us and nourishes us and strengthens us and enables us to let go of unnecessary stress and tension. So we've spoken about the earth element, the water element, the air, which we live in and breathe. Now, the fire element. The fire element relates to our will, our creative energy. And I understand that this whole event is an artist collective event. So my hope is, and I'm pretty sure this is likely to be the case, that there are lots of people who are watching this who are creatives. I'm a musician, I play electric bass guitar, love it. I've played for all the years I've been practicing Qigong. It's my therapy, I love it very much. So as a creative, harnessing our creative imagination and our will to do things in the world. What use is it just having an active imagination if it doesn't set us in motion to achieve things, to do things in the world, to make a difference, to lead by example. So the fire element is the animating qi of the body, the energy of the body. And it's closely related to will. So then we have the fifth element, and this is the one that I referred to as the S word, which is spirit. Now, every individual will make of what that refers to, or what it can relate to, the spiritual body, the spiritual self, in their own unique ways, and this is exactly as it should be. One person's conception of spiritual cultivation, or the principle of the spiritual body, is unique to them, in my opinion. So when we seek to harmonize the four elements, earth, water, air, and fire, within ourselves, and bring them all into one centered experience, this naturally allows for a gradual development of the refined self, the more spiritual essence. Now, this spiritual essence is nothing, how can I put this? The spiritual essence is not away with the fairies. I'm talking about the intrinsic spark of divinity within all of us. I'm not talking about religion, but that spark of divinity within all of us. That essence which connects us to all of nature. Us human beings are not separate from nature. We're a part of all of it. So when we contemplate the elements within ourselves, and we look around at nature, and we notice the physical form of the trees and the natural world, the form of animals, other people, and so on, the land. We're not separate from it, we're a part of it. We have our own physical being and existence. And we notice the element of water around us in nature. We are a part of it, it's a part of us. We rely upon it. The same with air. We're constantly in it, it's in us all the time. Developing a relationship, a positive, respectful relationship with the air that we breathe and how we choose to breathe it. These are wonderful things to contemplate. The element of fire. We have the sunlight, which causes everything on the earth to live and exist and grow and develop. It is life. So then the spirit, to recognize that everything living has a spiritual dimension to it. Everything living. All indigenous people have acknowledged this. They've known this and they have acted accordingly in their relationship with nature. Largely, humanity as a whole has lost our connection with the spiritual sanctity of life. This, I believe, we must remedy. We have to remedy this and reach out and reconnect with the sacred spirit of the natural world. So I was delighted that the event today, Shiro, is about reimagining nature. And through the use of technology, here I am standing, looking at my mobile phone, which has the camera on it I'm using to record this, to speak to people, probably all around the world, about this subject. Through the use of technology, sharing information with a good feeling, reaching out and connecting with people through the use of technology, engaging in a dialogue which is all about reconnecting with the sacred spirit of the natural world. This is a very positive use of technology, and the two things now are intimately linked. We communicate through technology, but what we're capable of sharing with each other through these mediums is wondrous. So again, I thank Zwan, thank you, and all of the other people at Sense Collective. I'm going to stop speaking about that stuff, the theory of the 5 elements, and we're going to do some actual exercise, and I'd like you to just copy along. we're going to make maybe 2 or 3 little simple exercises that I encourage you to practice, and to practice outdoors in nature. Find a place in a park, under a tree, or by some water or something where it's peaceful, and really engage in a contemplation of the elements within your own body whilst you practice these exercises. So I may just edit this here while I move the camera back so you can follow what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going to start with the feet underneath the hips, like this, parallel. Relax the soles of your feet. Don't grip the floor, please, with tight toes. If we align the body harmoniously with gravity and we're not off to one side or forward or back, we can really relax the feet. Allow the flesh of the soles of your feet to feel like soft cushions between the bones of your feet and the earth that you're standing on. This is our connection point to the earth. Sense through your feet your connection to the earth. Allow yourself to accept the earth that you're standing upon with a soft feeling in the feet, rather than resisting it with a hard, tense feeling. Accept it, welcome it, and feel and sense the relationship between the dense physicality of the earth you're standing upon and the physicality of the matter of your own body. We come from the earth and we return to it, but we're a part of it now. So relate to the earth element and your connection with the wider earth. So we want to let the shoulders drop. Relax the center of the chest here, the upper chest. Careful not to slouch. Chin tucked in. So watch this. People do this a lot. Chin in and slightly down. So we lengthen at the back of the neck. Shoulders drop, as I've already said. Let the weight of the arms hang loosely, like this, from the sides. Very, very loose and comfortable. But the crown, like it's being suspended by a single thread, lifts up. I'd like you to place the tip of your tongue lightly, please, on the roof of your mouth, just behind your teeth, and the back of your tongue down, so you have a hollow at the back of your mouth and the upper part of the throat. Allow yourself to surrender the weight of the root of your tongue to gravity. Surrender the weight of the root of your tongue to gravity while the tip of the tongue still touches the roof of the mouth just behind the teeth. Create a big cavern at the upper part of the throat and the back of the mouth. Take a few breaths in this position, and when you breathe out, allow the out-breath to feel like a big sigh, so the muscles release and the muscles and the flesh of the body just hang off of the bones. Relax your buttocks. There's no need for there to be any tension in the bum. If there is, have a word. Release it. Let it go. Relax the muscles surrounding your hip joints. No need for that to be tense either. Relax the sides of the body. Now when we breathe in, allow the air to be drawn into the base of the lungs rather than just the upper lungs. So just take a few breaths along with me 3 times. We're going to breathe in. And breathe out. Like a big sigh, let the flesh relax and hang off of the bones. Again, breathing in. And breathing out. And release everything. One last time, breathe in. And breathing out. Now copy, please. Turn the hands this way. Big wide palms. I'm going to bend my knees. I'm going to reach out slowly, like I'm sitting down. My elbows are in front, and I'm going to bring the hands this way, here. And we're just going to hold this shape for a short while. So, in this position, my hand, I'm going to walk a little further here. You see, single strand of skin between the forefinger and the thumb. So you have a big cup in the center of the palm, big space between each finger and the next. Don't be tense, don't wilt. Open. There's the hollow in the center of the palm. So here, this way. I want to feel that my arms are being propped up. Someone else is holding them. And the center of my palms triangulate toward here. Like this. Shoulders down. Tailbone down, so we're long in the lower back. Again, scan the body, relax your feet. Keep the crown suspended, relax across the chest. Relax the sides of the body, switch the buttocks off. Take a few breaths in this position. And every time you breathe out, scan the body and release the unnecessary tension. And again, in-breath here. And out-breath. Follow the speed of your breathing rather than maybe a longer, slower breath that I'm following here. And now we're going to slowly bring the arms down like this. Take your time, there's no hurry. Take your time. Lower the elbows slightly. So the hands are here, like this. If you're female, the center of your palms should triangulate to where your ovaries are, here. Your reproductive organs. Send a lovely, kind feeling, a radiant, respectful, loving, nurturing, nourishing feeling from your hands toward your reproductive organs if you're a woman. Another way of looking at this, which I personally love, is we've all seen images of the Buddha, and very often the Buddha has a big belly, and the Buddha's very often laughing. And is laughing because he's got a belly full of qi that's been cultivated over a long time. So for me, that's an image I love. So for me, I want to feel like I'm wrapping my arms around a great big belly full of qi. And that's a lovely feeling. And if it makes you smile, then you're doing it correctly. This practice, I believe, should have a gentle feeling, a light feeling, a loving feeling. And again, be aware of the structure, the earth of the body and our connection through the softness in the soles of the feet with the earth which we're standing upon. And again, let the shoulders release. Every time you breathe out, let it feel like a little bit more like a sigh than the previous out-breath. Now we're going to change the position again, fingers this way. And I'm going to reach the hands forward and here, like this. There's a triangle here, you see this? And here. Elbows down, shoulders down, tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, back of the tongue down, nose breathing, scan the body. When you breathe out like a big sigh, release the unnecessary tension. No need to hold tension in the feet or the bum or the muscles surrounding your hips. Let your chest relax, let the sides of the body relax. Take a deep breath with me, please. Breathe in. And breathe out and copy. Fingers point down like this. Hands below the height of the elbows. Elbows down. I want to feel that there's a prop here. I'm just resting my arm on that. We've seen probably the photographs, paintings of Salvador Dali, where very often he has little props and things are melting over the top of the props. That's what I want to feel like. Here, I'm just melting over the top of the prop, so I can let my shoulders release, the elbows drop, because gravity pulls the elbows down. It's just the hands that are energized. Everything else is releasing. Palms pointing at each other. Keep the crown suspended. And again, we're going to breathe deeply in together now. And as we breathe out, release everything. Again, scan the body, let the shoulders drop. Relax across the chest. Breathe in. And breathe out like a big sigh. Now this way, breathe in. And breathe out. And now breathe naturally, please. My fingers, as I look down, are in a straight line across like this, pointing at each other. Many people find this a challenge to bring the fingers into a straight line. If it's more comfortable for you to do this with a forward pointing triangle, then by all means do. But if we turn it this way and push the heels of the hands down, long at the back of the neck, when we push the hands down, the shoulders also go down. But the armpits become hollow, and the armpits are the conduit through which all of the yin meridians flow through into the soft yin interior of the arm and back up into the torso. So here, keeping this shape, breathe deeply in. Breathe out and release. Let the shoulders drop, scan the body. Breathing in. Breathing out and release again. Breathing in one more time. Now, breathe out this way. Breathe in and expand. Breathe out and release everything. Now breathe naturally. I want to feel that my hands are resting on a huge balloon like this, so my shoulders can drop. And again, be aware, sense through the hands, the ground, the earth upon which we're standing. Be aware of the bones of the body, the stability of the matter of the body. Now copy, please. Palms down. Turn the hands this way. Breathe in. Sit down. Pull apart the clouds. Breathe out. Breathe in and slowly stand up. Straightening the knees. In-breath. Breathe out and release everything. Let the arms hang from the shoulders. Notice how your hands feel. You're likely to have a very tingly feeling in the hands. So we're going to shake the arms like this. And we're going to change the sensation in the hands to an even stronger sensation. And then we're going to make use of that sensation in the next exercise. So shoulders down like this, out like this. Quickly. Now open the hands wide. And the hands push down and the spine gets longer, growing taller and taller, taller and taller, taller and taller. Now switch everything off. Breathe in, breathe out and release everything. Now we're going to make use of that lovely tingle in the hands. This exercise is called bathing the face, as if we're dipping our hands into a pool of crystal clear water. And there's no rush, look. And we splash the water on the face. Relax the muscles in your forehead, the little muscles behind your eyes. The elbows move out. The little fingers lead. Hands travel down the body and we grow tall through the spine, like the skull's being cradled and lifted up like this, gently. So we're going to do this exercise 5 times, but with a different internal focus. The first one is on the earth element. You think about what that means for you. Experience the earth element within yourself. Like this. Breathing in. And out. Now from here, breathe in and stand up. Breathe out and release everything. Second time, focus on the water element. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in and stand up. And breathe out. Third time, focusing on the air element. Breathe the air in. Welcome it. Breathe out. Release it with a thankful feeling. Breathe in, stand up tall. Breathe out, release everything. Now the fire element. Breathe in. Breathe out. Relate positively to the fire element within you. Breathe in. Breathe out and release everything. Now, the 5th element of spirit. Whatever this means to you as an individual. But to do this, we're going to go a little higher with the hands. Breathe in. Point the palms at the top of the crown. Breathe out. Breathe in and stand up. Breathe out and release everything again. Okay, from here, bend the knees and begin to turn the body. Loosen the arms like this. Turning the hips, keep the knees stable. There should be no side-to-side movement of your knees. Keep the kneecaps pointed in the same direction as your big toes. The hand at the back taps by the opposite kidney with the back of the hand. Have a really loose and lazy feeling in the arms, this way and this way, and here. So this is a loosening Qigong exercise. It's often called, my teacher refers to this as the constant bear. So now we're going to go one hand here and one hand here on the, oops, excuse me, got a microphone here, on the upper lung, so there. Beneath the collarbone, please don't hit yourself on the collarbone with the heel of your hand. Please don't do that. Underneath the collarbone, there is where you want to be hitting. So, like this and this. Now on the shoulder muscle, like this, with a little hook in the hand, just here on the muscle on the top, not on the bones, on the muscle. Keep this shoulder down. So we turn the hips, this way, this way. The hand at the back still taps the back of the hand on the opposite kidney, like this, and like this, and just a few more times. Okay, now back to this, just turn sideways. Begin to stand up tall. Let the arms just come to rest in their own time. Take your time. Stand as upright and tall as you can. Bring your attention to your feet. Release your feet again. Don't grip the floor with tight toes. Accept the earth you're standing on with a soft feeling in your feet. Welcome it. Develop a relationship with that sensation, that the earth is supporting us. So reimagining our position, our place within nature, within the natural world. Please research this in your own practice, in your own creative ways. Reconnect with the sacred spirit of the natural world. Thank you, everybody. Zwan and all at Sense Collective, thank you very much for inviting me, and I hope that you find this of benefit. And yeah, thanks ever so much, everybody. Peace. Take good care of yourselves.